Every yard, every hit, every second. It's earned out here. This game demands more than just skill. It demands fuel. The right fuel. Because out here, it's not just about how hard you work. It's about how long you keep going. When the game gets real, drink BioSteel.
Welcome in, welcome back for one final time this OUA football season. Connor O'Neill, Wade Zanketta here to break it down for you guys as we are going to talk about the Yates Cup that was. And Connor, what a game. I don't think many people had this one on their bingo cards as being a massive turnover game, considering the way these two offenses have played during the year so far. But we got a lot of turnovers early on from the Laurier Golden Hawks that seemed to make a difference.
Yeah, we certainly did. And Wade, that was one of the things that we talked about leading up to this game, right? Like I asked you what you thought the difference maker was going to be in this game. And you sat there and you told me that the defensive backs for the Queens Gaels had an opportunity to be all over the field in this one. And they certainly were. 4 interceptions. We thought it was five, officially scored as 4 interceptions in this one. Five total
And a
takeaways.
fumble.
Yeah, five
Yeah.
total takeaways for this Queens Gaels defense. Pretty impressive. And yeah, we're highlighting the DBs, but the other guy that we talked about that could be a problem in this game, that was a problem eventually in this game, was Justin Pace and the freedom that he plays with when the front seven is getting a good push. And Wade, 7.5 total tackles, 1 interception return for a touchdown, 1 pass breakup, 1 fumble recovery. Was Justin Pace all over the field in this one, or what?
There was a lot of 44 jerseys that seemed to be on the field at one point, but it was actually just one guy somehow. No, Justin Pace was a freak of nature, Connor, and this is what an all-Canadian middle linebacker looks like. And last year he got those honors. This year, I don't think he will just because the games missed. But Connor, he is, the leader in this locker room. He is the leader on the field. He is a leader in the community. And when you have so many of those positive things going for yourself, like you'll hear this when people look at like NFL draft, you'll talk about like, oh, well, the guy's a guy's guy, he's a leader, he's like Baker Mayfield, a leader in the community, guys in the locker room love him, and on the field, he puts it all together as well. And that's what Justin Pace really does here. And like you could see, like he gets his a big turnover after his touchdown. He's running off the field, and Thane Carter, who was a part of the Vanier team in '09, is standing there, and he shakes his hand, like doesn't give him a high five, like fully shakes his hand, and then turns to his little like 2 or 3 year old son and gently shakes his hand too before getting onto the bench and celebrating with the rest of his teammates. And like that's just the little things that are Justin Pace and make him who he is. But when he puts that helmet on and he starts flying around, Connor, there are plays to be made, and the story is going to be Justin Pace and the amazing game that he had just flying around. But both of his turnovers were caused by insane pressure and insane punch outs and knockdowns. So I think it was Jared Seaway that caused the first one that gets ruled as a fumble. And then the next one, the D line just played fantastic. DJ Ryan forcing the screen pass to get popped up, and Pace just being on the spot ready to go. So um, I felt like this defense early on was so locked into what Laurie was going to try to do. And yes, not having Ethan Jordan helps the Queens defense in this one, but so many tip passes or, second chance opportunities that they were there for because they were in the right spot, ready to make the right play. Um, what is it? The old adage is luck is when hard work and opportunity meet at some point, and that's exactly what this Queens defense was this week. And as a result, they're off to Saskatoon, and we'll be here later in the week to break that one down. But we got more to talk about here with the Yates Cup.
Yeah, Queens is off to Saskatoon, but Wade, just barely, because Laurier did make a comeback in this game. We're talking about how great Queens' defense played, and they did. They really did. But the second half of this one, all Golden Hawks, 24 points. It was a 24-3 second half in this game. Queens getting a little bit nervous there at the end of the game. But I mean, the first half, obviously very rough for Laurier in this one, and a rough first half for Cal Wither, who had 4 interceptions in that first half. Obviously not how you want to start a game. But I do admire the fact that despite this obviously less than desirable start for Laurier, they didn't let it grate on them. They didn't let it sit in the back of their minds. They just kept plugging away, kept playing football, kept staying on brand. And then all of a sudden, with less than 3 minutes to play in this one, it's a 30-27 game because this team has come back with 24 second half points to put this one in reach. And I think that's what the really good teams do in this league, in the OUA, in sports in general. They're able to face the adversity, push it out of their minds, stay on topic, stay on brand, and rely on what's gotten them there to this point. And for Laurier, it almost worked. It almost worked. Maybe, I mean, if ifs and buts, and you know the saying, right? But if there was one less turnover on the Laurier side, is this a different ball game? I mean, there's so many things that we can talk about in this game, all the ifs, but I do really commend the effort of Laurier in the second half of this one, and the poise that Cal Withers showed in the second half of this game, despite the rocky first half.
Yeah, Connor. I mean, if you have four, essentially five turnovers, like let's call the fumble what it is. Like it's a bang bang play, marked as a pick or a fumble, doesn't matter. Um, Only one of those turnovers from Cal Wither was actually a like legitimate
Blatant
interception.
interception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after such a rocky, like you just feel like nothing is going your way, right? Like it's just starting to compound and snowball. To go in at halftime and just have a complete reset and just say, all right, new game. We got a hill to climb. Let's start chipping away, one piece at a time, one brick by one brick. The defense played the same way. The special teams played phenomenal, I think, for Laurier as well. Really, both special teams groups. I mean, we had the block punt from the Golden Hawks in the first half. Queens with really good directional kicking. I felt like all day kind of limited the Tayshawn Jackson ability to return the ball. But Cal Wither and co just started to chip away and use short fields and use field position and really hem them in and play to the team's strength, which has been the defense all year. Now, like you said, good teams are the ones that can make these comebacks. Great teams are the ones that can finish the deal, like last year's Laurier Golden Hawks were. And that was really an issue we saw all year with Laurier, right? They would play 3 quarters of really high-end football and have 1 quarter, whether it's the first, the second, third, or fourth, where they're kind of just flying by the seat of their pants trying to hang on to whatever lead they had. Unfortunately for them, the rough quarters were in the first half, and it dug them such a hole that when they did play their excellent football that we know they're always capable of, it was just too much to overcome too late.
Yeah, it was. It was just a little bit too late. And we've talked a lot about the Queens defense in this one, but wait, let's talk about the offensive side of the ball for these Queens Golden Gaels. I mean, nothing, and I mean this in a very complimentary way, and it's not going to sound that, so I got to preface this with this. Nothing from this offense was outstanding, but everything was working in rhythm. Everything was working in rhythm. There's no one guy where I'm like, whoa, look at the stats on this guy. Holy crap, did he ever pack the box score? No, that there's no guy on the Queens offense that packed the box score that had like 300 yards receiving or rushing or whatever. Jared Chisari didn't have one of those games where he's a 200-yard rusher, but he still had 15 attempts. He was still rushing for damn near 4 yards a carry, chipping away at this aggressive Laurier front seven, wearing them down, tiring them out. On top of that, Alex Vreeken has done what he did all season long, where he doesn't have to make complicated plays because he knows he has the playmakers around him to just do the simple things, and they're going to be very effective. So he goes 16 for 27, 170 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception. Obviously, that's not the most eye-popping stat line we've ever seen from Vreeken, but in a championship game, this is exactly the type of performance that you want him to have. Limiting the mistakes, being on point with the football, throwing a touchdown that was a great ball. He led that receiver. He put it on his back hip pocket so that his receiver wasn't going to get killed when he's going across the middle. I thought that was a great throw. It put it in a great spot, led to a touchdown on that, obviously. And then does the veteran thing, runs one in with his legs, stands up, screams at everybody, gets everybody going. Like Alex Vreeken was a true veteran leader in this game, I thought. And this was finally the playoff game that I think we've been waiting for Vreeken to have. This is really the playoff run I think we've been waiting for Vreeken to have.
Well, it's the first time that Vreek's been healthy in the playoffs, Connor, and I think that's the biggest difference. I mean, you look back at maybe you say the Yates Cup when they hosted it at Queens, he was healthy, but I thought he was banged up in that season and then came back late. The one that they went to London to play, he was not healthy at all and just tried to fire it
Still made an
together.
angry run in that game.
And then the last couple of years he's been, hand, head, a whole bunch of different injuries. This is the first year that he's been healthy start to finish and has really been able to show the talent that certainly the people in Kingston know about, but like CFL scouts, he's a part of the mentorship program. People see the talent that Alex freaking has, but he just has not been able to put that full 8 game stretch together to make a run. And now he has, and now we see what happens. But Connor, you're right. This offense, nothing was special, but the hardest thing to do in football, except for maybe come back from a 30-point lead, is to hold on to one because what do? You can't just start throwing the ball down the field. You want to grind as much clock away, but the defense knows that you're trying to grind as much clock away as humanly possible. So, it's just a weird spot for an offensive coordinator. I think Coach Nesbitt and the crew did a really good job at still mixing in some of the pass concepts and not taking, too many shots, but taking them when they needed to try and ease off some of these DBs and getting to the sidelines and getting some of their bigger bodies against some of these DBs for Laurier. So really excited for Queens to be back in the spotlight. It was kind of fitting that Danny Brannigan was also on the sidelines for this one, but Laurier, a hell of a season. Do not want to sell them short. I mean, going 9-0 in the OUA with a playoff win under your belt is an extreme accomplishment. Obviously not the one that they are wanting or hoping to end their season with, but I think this Laurier team is going to be around and going to be a pain in the side. I mean, they've got Tavis Robinson's younger brother that looks like he's going to be as freaky of an athlete as the rest of them. So you put him and Ryan Hughes beside each other on a receiving core. That's a tall task, literally, to deal with. So very excited for the future of Laurier. We're kind of moving out of the EJ and Taylor era into something that I think is going to be as exciting to watch week in, week out. And Coach Faulds and Coach V and Galloway are just getting started with it. So kudos to Queens, back on the top of the mountain in the OUA after a long 16 years. But they finally did it. Coach Schneider and his culture, his way finally paid off, and the stay steady mantra is still in effect for Queens as they are going all the way out to the prairies.
Yeah, what is it that Coach Schneider loves to say? Never surrender. They certainly didn't do that this season, and they are going to be on their way to the prairies, like you're saying. Congratulations again to head coach Steve Snyder, his staff, the team, everybody around the organization of Queens. It was a great win. It was a great ball game. And again, congrats to Laurier. Hell of a season, like you said. Coach Fald certainly runs a tight ship over there. And like you said, as long as him and his staff are a part of the Laurier Golden Hawks football program, I think they're going to be successful for years to come here. So exciting time in the OUA, exciting time for U Sports football in general as we move into the national semifinal stage. Thank you again to the OUA for allowing us to sit here and talk in front of each other. We're both basically just like talking at each other about our ideas on the OUA, but it is a lot of fun to sit here and do this. We really appreciate everybody who listens. Thank you so much for everything you do for us and allowing us again to be here and talk about something that we'd be talking about otherwise. I think we'd probably just be texting or calling each other if we didn't have this podcast, right? So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a wild ride. Queens, your 2025 Yates Cup champion. And don't forget, as they go on a run, they're going to be staying hydrated with BioSteel all the way to the prairies. So you should be too. Go get your BioSteel. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Thank you again to everybody for tuning in. We're not going anywhere, though. we will be back with a Queens, Saskatchewan Mitchell Bowl preview. Will be available for you to listen to. So thank you again. Enjoy the national semifinals, and yeah, we'll see you later this week.